Alright, so the only thing missing right now is user authentication. Why do we need that? Basically, user authentication allows us to know who is who on our website. Marketing automation systems have some basic way of authenticating users. Now I will leave the preview mode so that it's easier to show you all the next steps. So the marketing automation system assigns cookies to each website visitor. It helps the marketing system to know who is who on some basic level. So when I go from page to page, the system knows that I'm the same person. However, if the next day I come back from a mobile device or some other website browser which does not have my cookie, the system will think that I'm a new user and assign a new cookie. So we want to avoid that. In most cases, there is some way to know that I'm the same person even though I use a different device or different browser. One could argue that email could be such identifier, because if I use the same email, it means that I am the same person. However, it's not always true, because if my email is public, someone else might come to the website, say that this is their email address, and suddenly, boom, they have access to my chat conversations, they have access to my account, and so on. So email by itself is not enough. We need some more secure way to authenticate our users. So most websites simply use login. So let's log in or sign up on this website so that we can walk through this process together. So I go to checkout. Now I have to fill out all of this information. Alright, I want to create an account. I include some password here. I can place an order and this will register me on the website. Alright, I have registered, I have placed an order by the way. So now let's see what happens. The next time I visit the website, the system must know after I log in that I am the same person. So how the marketing automation system can know that? I will show you. When I go to console and go data layer is a layer of information that Google Tag Manager in general uses to authenticate users and to store other data. So here I have visitor ID attribute. It's equal to 11. So each time I log in, the browser will know that my visitor ID is 11. If I pass this information to the marketing automation system, then the marketing automation system will check if there's any other user who has this visitor ID, and if so, then it will connect them into one person in the system. So if I tomorrow come back from a mobile device and log in securely using my password, the website will say, oh, welcome visitor ID 11. And the marketing automation system will see, oh, there was a guy who has visitor ID 11. He visited the page yesterday from my PC, so he must be the same person. Let's connect those two profiles and assign the same cookie as the guy before had. So now the only thing we have to do is pass this information to our marketing automation system. Okay, so what do we have to do to pass this variable to user engage? The first thing is we have to create a variable in Tag Manager and then pass this variable to user engage via the tracking code. So I go to variables, I create a new variable, I will call it visitor ID. It will be a data layer variable because this is information that we retrieve from the data layer. And the data layer variable name, as you could see before, is visitor ID. Now I set the default value to nothing. Otherwise, user engage will receive the information that the visitor ID is equal to unknown. So all the users will be matched into one user. And now I can save. Next step, I go to my tag. And I can add another field. What field? Well, we have to go to our implementation documentation and basically copy this field. So I move back, paste it here, and in this place I'm going to include the visitor ID. Okay, now I can save it. Refresh, go to my page, I can close this already, refresh the page, let's see what happens. tag fired, and the user ID inside the implementation code is equal to 11. So when I go to my people section now, refresh, there's a user called example@example.com with user ID equal to 11. So now this user has been authenticated. So even if I come back and log in with example@example.com and use the correct password for my mobile device, all the data that I then provide, so all my clicks and page views, will land in this profile, not some other profile. So, what do you need to implement this? As you could see, here in the data layer, I could access this information, but this is not done by default in all the websites. Those are, I would say, the most basic attributes that should be passed to the marketing automation system once the user has logged in. So what you should do is you should ask your developer to create those variables and pass them to data layer. So this is the second thing that you need the developer to do. First one was implement tag manager. The second one, passing visitor ID, username, and email to data layer at each page view. Alright, so the full implementation with, now I'm going to do exactly the same for the email and the username. So I'm going to my website, opening the data layer, checking the name of the attribute. So it's visitor, username, visitor, email. Okay, those two. Right, I can go to variables and add new variables. Visitor, email. It's data layer and it should be the same. Again, set default value to nothing and save the attribute. Another one was visitor username, and I'm doing again the same thing. Set default value to nothing, save. Now we can move on and paste them here. So email, visitor email. I'm not sure about the username, so I'll just go with name. I think that will be the most suitable attribute. Alright, I can save it, refresh my container, go back to my website, and let's see, email is being provided correctly and name example1 also correctly. Let's see my user profile right here. Example. Okay, so all the data has been passed successfully. Great. User authentication is ready. Now we can move forward to more advanced settings.